Because everyone hates intros, my name is Teddy, and it's no secret I love only doing life skilling in Black Desert Online. Oftentimes when I'm streaming, I get asked if it's worth selling the combat gear to buy life skilling gear, and today I'm going to answer that and even give better ways to get started if you've only done mob grinding. Of course, this is just going to be my opinion, but if you find this helpful, be sure to leave a like, and let's just jump into this. So an update just dropped that killed your mob grinding zone in Black Desert, and now you're considering selling all your hard-earned gear? Let me stop you right there. Don't. Unlike mob grinding, life scaling requires a huge investment in silver, knowledge grinding, contribution points, and real money, which isn't handed out during events or for simply starting a new toon like with mob grinding. Most look at the value of the gear and see a huge lump sum, but once that silver is gone, you'll have to rely solely on life scaling only. This is where most of the newer players hit a stone wall. Most will just sell their desperate fallen gear, not realizing one piece doesn't even cover the cost of a Pen Manos clothes, barely a Tep Prion accessory, or a couple of tools which rely mainly on the clothes, leading you to a slow crawl to earn money. Which leads us into the next issue. If you're extremely unlucky with enhancing, you can easily run through the whole entire cost and then some, meaning you won't have any type of profit in selling on the central market. That nice 32 bill piece of gear looks great when selling on the central market, but how much did it cost you to enhance, and how much money is going to be used to buy the lifeskilling gear? Even if it looks like it's worth a couple hundred bill, just having both Pen Manos and Prion will run you at least 450 bill. When it comes to mob grinding, even with just basic combat gear, you're able to make a couple $100 million to billions in an hour or two, even in the lower spots when you're unlucky. Still not convinced to keep your PvE gear yet? Treasure hunting might seem like it's only meant for mob grinding, but these treasures help out a ton with life skilling. The archaeologist map being able to teleport you to and from places every 6 hours, telescope teleporting, the compass revealing Margoria and desert fog, the merchant ring for plus 5% more silver when selling anything on the central market, and the infinite health and mana potion for gathering and hunting. Getting the Arcanus element is a great way of getting all of those fruits of nature if you already have your infinite health and mana potions. Lastly, we have bosses like the Rift Field and world bosses that are needed for certain life-skilling aspects, like unlocking the 2 crystal slots with Garmy or the mystical feathers for the T10 awakening attempts each week. The ores can also be used for memory fragments for more repairs, or all the loot can be sold for life-skilling progress. And when you take a look at life skilling, you'll need a lot of investment and real money just to be able to start making to $1 billion a day easily, and that still depends on which activity you're choosing to do. This is not to say all life skilling activities are bad or the whole life skill, but rather you won't make a ton unless you're extremely lucky. Face it, mob grinding just makes more silver than life skilling even after all the updates to the zones and combat. But don't let that scare you away from life skilling, even if you're just a mob grinder. You can start life skilling easier now than ever. Let me show you a few ways. First things first, you will need combat gear in order to complete the main story. Without the story quest done on at least one toon, you're losing out on things like crystal slots, certain NPCs, and even quest lines needed for other life skilling activities. And oh, how could I forget about the season? There are huge rewards for life skilling, like the Flamoros accessories that are only available for completing the season. Sometimes they do include pets and other life skilling rewards for just hitting up to level 61, and even graduating offers some huge life skilling buffs. Not only that, but combat gear is needed to get more energy. The more mobs you kill, the more knowledge is earned, and once so many of the topics are completed, the more max energy is giving out to start life skilling. If you are fully committed into combat and never touched life skills, have no gear, or you're struggling to start getting better gear, this is where Logia comes in. Not only is it cheap to buy from the vendor, but the materials can easily be gathered and mob grinded for. This is a great place to start, especially when you only have the combat gear. Next, there's 2 life skills to invest into to help out with being gathering and fishing. Gathering is great with being able to get the materials needed to start other life skills, enhancing, or even crafting better clothes, accessories, and tools without even touching the central market. As for fishing, this skill is great for AFK money making while you're asleep, getting those keys to make billions while gathering. And lastly, the ancient relics to pair, but remember, you will need combat gear to fight the bosses for the memory fragments. Tools can be bought after you choose the skill to start in. As for the fishing rods, lures, bottles, and cooking utensils, these can all be made in any tool workshop. Just these 2 skills alone, coupled with mob grinding, is more than enough to start building the gear needed for other life skills. After you do get a bearing on gathering and fishing, this is where you can start funneling money into all the other life skills. I recommend taking a look at cooking and alchemy for just how easy it is to get the contribution points to start investing into nodes and workers. Hunting is a great one to start investing into, but it does require a lot of money, which can be solved by mob grinding. And depending on how much you've invested into your hunting, you can make a couple billion per hour, but it does require a huge investment in silver and real money. For those who don't have any combat gear because you sold it all and you're still broke, struggling to make money, or just don't have the gear in general because you wanted to start with life skilling, I recommend starting out with training. Training can easily be done buying the ingredients to make the sugar, capturing ropes from the stable keeper, and going out and capturing, then selling off the horses until you have enough money to start investing into other life skills. It's pretty simple and does not require any gear, so even if you are wearing your combat gear, you can still go out there and start capturing and selling horses easily. All the other life skills can start to be invested into until you eventually have full tri-manos and above. Once you hit this point, you can basically relax and start enjoying all of the fun things that life skilling has available to you. Of course, that is if you went out and invested into the pearl items. If not, it's still going to be a struggle, and I recommend solely focusing into mob grinding. Lifeskilling is more of a fun activity, not really much of a moneymaker. It's something that you do when you chill, but not something that you're doing to try to make a couple $100 billion per week. Now, granted, you are able to make $1 billion or more per day with your life skills, but it does require a couple $1,000s investment. Using mob grinding, build up all of your silver needed is a great way to start leveling all of your other life skills without having to sell any of that gear. Let's be real. I don't think I would want to waste 32 bill just trying to enhance a piece of gear to sell for less money on the central market, knowing that a piece of my 10 manas is going to be worth 41 mil over here on NA. And there you have it. For those who are wondering if you should sell all your combat gear for Lifeskilling Gear, please don't. It's better to keep your gear and just store it for when you get bored of not making enough silver from Lifeskilling. While Lifeskilling in Black Desert may not have real progression for mob grinding, the same can't be said about PvE, and sadly, even if you hate mob grinding like me, you'll still have to dabble in it from time to time to get something in regards for Lifeskilling. I know, I'll have those in the comment mentioning how you can just swipe your credit card for everything, but although that may be true for some things, you still won't be able to swipe for 600 energy on day 1, or your Route 50 in a few hours. Remember, new Preon crystals are coming and the silver embroidered are being removed, so make sure you keep an eye out for the updates to know when to be prepared. I'll try my best to keep you guys up to date. I hope this helps you decide if that stack of silver is going to be worth it, and if you want to see more Black Desert content, be sure to check out the channel for more. See you guys in the next one. Gathering out there, everyone.